Why I Love, State of Decay. Hello and welcome to another Why I Love, this time focusing on an individual Doctor Who story for the first time. And the story I'm focusing on is the Tom Baker story State of Decay, a 4-part vampire horror story that was broadcast as the 4th story of Season 18, Tom Baker's 7th and final season as the 4th Doctor, from the 22nd of November to the 13th of December 1980. Good Lord. This story is nearly 40 years old. State of Decay was written by the late great Terrance Dicks, a prolific Who writer and novelizer who was also script editor of the series for the entirety of the phenomenally popular Jon Pertwee era. Regular viewers of my channel will be aware that I am not the biggest fan of Season 18 as a whole, finding it a very dour and humorless follow-up to the wonderfully wacky Season 17, but State of Decay is very much the exception. While having plenty of humor, Decay is a much more serious story than most of Season 17, but in a good old-fashioned gothic horror style rather than the rather po-faced scientific seriousness purveyed by the rest of the season. When I first saw it, I first watched State of Decay in the late 80s. A fan friend of mine who I'd met in my school's sci-fi club had loads of old pirate copies and was happy to tape me my own copies of various stories. I received State of Decay in tandem with Full Circle, though oddly I did not see Warrior's Gate, the concluding story of the E-Space trilogy, until late 1991 after I'd buggered off to Aussie-land. I can't remember why this was. Maybe he just didn't have that one for some reason. Who knows? Anyway, I liked both stories, but even then State of Decay was my favorite of the two, and that has not changed. Why I love it. Everyone loves a good gothic horror story, and, aside from Fang Rock and Curse of Fenric, State of Decay is one of the few examples of the genre in the series outside of the Hinchcliffe era. It's also a fucking masterpiece. It utterly bewilders me as to why Decay is so underrated. I don't mean underrated in the sense that it's put down, like Attack of the Cybermen or Horns of Nimon are, but more in the sense that it just seems bizarrely forgotten about, even by the kind of people that the story seems to be tailor-made for. It's truly peculiar, because make no mistake, everything about State of Decay reeks of class. This is a great production with excellent production values, a production design that deliberately echoes that of Hammer horror movies, which the story is obviously something of a homage to in one of Uncle Dewey's finest scripts. The music score from Paddy Kingsland and the cast is excellent, and none more so than our two glorious leads, Tom Baker and Lalla Ward as his time lady companion Romana. It is no secret that these two are probably my favorite Doctor and companion team in the whole series, and they are on fabulous form here. Too often in Season 18 they're trying to make the best of Christopher H. Bidmed's patented technobabble gobbledygook in place of the real dialogue and fun banter they shared in Season 17, but we have a real writer in charge of this script, so that's mercifully absent here. Tom in Season 18 can be a bit of a slog, with his illness coupled with his unhappy working relationship with the draconian new production team and dissatisfaction with the show's new direction. But this was the first of the season to be shot, and is easily the best and most old-school script of their lot. So while he was ill shooting, there's little sign of the obvious "I'm fed up of this" tiredness he often shows elsewhere this year. Tom's on fire here, and Lalla does not let the side down. She's fantastic, the chemistry between the two is fantastic, and as gorgeous as she always was, she's arguably never more breathtaking than she is here. Someone on a forum recently called her ridiculously beautiful and charming in this story, and it's a spot-on description. The painful abuse that K9 had to suffer through Season 18 is also absent here, with Dicks giving him some great scenes with Tom in the TARDIS and then helping to lead the final assault on the tower in the story's climax. Great stuff. The cliffhanger to Episode 3 is fantastically OTT horror movie stuff and one of my favorite cliffhangers. I still maintain this should have been the final 4th Doctor story. Would not even have required much of a rewrite. Just have the Hydrax autopilot not work, so Tom has to pilot it himself and sacrifice himself to stop the great vampire. A much more fitting end than the mathematical meaningless bollocks of Logoberus. Keeping Lalla on for a bit of Season 19 wouldn't have hurt Davison either. Oh well. Never mind. A naff infrared underground shot of the great vampire aside, State of Decay is pretty much faultless from start to finish. It should go without saying that State of Decay gets an A+ from me. The story also has a cemented place in my top 10 Doctor Who stories ever made, and that's why I love State of Decay.